Okay, friends, good afternoon and welcome to the inaugural Faculty Development Workshop of Youth Ideathon 2023. I have a very dear friend and a great person who is working in the area of design, entrepreneurship, startups. And I thought that instead of me boring all of you, why not you listen to a great friend, and he's going to be talking about uh, how you as mentors can coach your students to come up with better ideas, or how you can improvise their idea. Now, with me today, if you can really see, two of us are there on the spotlight. Ankur Raval. Ankur Raval is a senior associate, program associate at CEEW, which is Center for Energy, Earth and Water, and in Energy, Environment and Water. And by the way, you would also know him. He is a person who sponsored the fellowship program for Youth Ideathon 2022. So there were 5 fellowships given to teams, and phenomenal learning experience. And those teams, eventually they were able to showcase the work out of their fellowship at Hotel Hayat about a month back, which was witnessed by about 500 people who had come from all over the country. And mind you, these are all the work which was done by school students in guidance of teachers. And Ankur really handheld, literally like this, holding the fingers of everyone and pulling them all along. Now, without much ado, I make the floor open to Ankur, for Ankur Raval to speak. He is Masters in Design from IIT Bombay, has done many things. About 10 years back, he was profiled on the cover page of Times of India when he designed a new rickshaw, right? So you heard me right. This was like the rickshaw, jo rickshaw wala, the rickshaw pullers, that the rickshaw that they pull, and it was an very innovative design that he had done. But from there, he moved on to do various things. He specializes in communication, he specializes in visual design, he specializes in product design. Today, he is at CW doing sustainability related projects, green hydrogen and everything. So he is my first port of call whenever we need to make anything. So Ankur, the floor is yours. Look forward
Thank
to
you.
guidance, listening to you. Over to you.
For sure, for sure. And also want to add to that introduction. I met Sanjeev Shivesh when I just passed my 12th standard, and he asked me a simple question. At that time, I used to be in graphic design and website design back in 2012, and he said that, Ankur, ye sab to a lot of people can do, and you will learn from there. But why don't you design something tangible, and from an hairpin to an airplane? And literally, sir, I want to thank you for that, because that initiated my whole journey towards appreciating machines, industrial design, and I have had my own career path in terms of learning from consumers, communications design, and now where I'm at. It was last year, Youth Ideathon 2022 is where I sort of pulled in my the organization that I work for, Council on Energy, Environment and Water, to partner with Think Startup and sort of piggyback on Youth Ideathon, which was happening. And we said that we want to be able to innovate for the issue of air pollution. And since it is it is a problem where an immediate answer is not really possible, or it's very hard for a student to come up with, we said we'll come up with a program which is able to handhold them. And that was an amazing experience. 6 months of really, as in the way a PhD student or a master student sort of gets into a product or a science behind the filtration technologies, new materials, even AI based X-rays. Can I request somebody to unmute themselves? Yeah. So without further ado, I'll
Sorry, Ankur, I have muted you for some reason. I'm making you co-host first. Yeah, I hope you can unmute yourself now.
yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So without further ado, I will get into something that I really want to talk to you all about. So when we talk about innovation, I hope everybody can see my screen. If somebody can just let me know.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So when we talk about innovation, innovation in a very simple definition is new value creation. Now, when we say new value creation, this is economic value, societal value, environmental value, which so far has not been actualized. These have, like when you heard of the concept or the startup Uber, Uber started, a lot of you must have heard that story, but if you look at it from this angle, that when Uber started, it picked on a technology which was GPS, which was developed by the defense in US to track all of their army vehicles. They picked on the technology, meaning as soon as it reached phones, they said, okay, so now that there is a way to know where a certain phone is in a latitude and longitude, and then they matched it to the problem that people faced in terms of hailing a taxi. They said somebody had to raise their hand. Coincidentally, a taxi had to pass by, which was a very mismatched system. They matched the need with the technology and then charged a layer on top of it and said that we are providing you this convenience. And for this convenience, you have to share some of that value. The transaction, the fare that you pay to a taxi, add a little bit to that, which we will take to be able to facilitate this. And the way they made the system in terms of safety, security, in terms of price matching, in terms of prediction of time, they have helped Google develop such a strong map system and the huge value that we've seen in the last 2 decades that has come about from taxis being shared. And in fact, and innovation also has a certain time frame where it is novel and you're able to capture the most value, and then it becomes so mainstream that anybody is able to copy. So as a designer, it's a lot of times it's a compliment when somebody copies your design because it was so good that it was worth copying. But at the core of formation of Uber is the word innovation. That is a very good example of new value to be created. So when we try and think about how an idea emerges, now a lot of people would say that forming an idea is an art. This it's not exactly fair science, but I've tried to make it into a linear arithmetic equation where a current idea, if you want to start a startup today, it it needs to follow a certain market trend. The market is moving towards certain technologies, certain behaviors, certain availability of resources, certain political changes that happen. So that market trend and capturing that market trend is something that you have to always be keeping your antennas on. You always should be, you know, a lot of us tell our students that do not be on social media too much, do not be online too much. But if you see the way market trends keep evolving, even the trends that you see on Instagram, on TikTok, the whole business of ByteDance and TikTok was built about making these trends happen and how people follow these trends. So market trend and capturing market trends is a very important part of your ideation process. And as you sort of develop your ideas for your submissions towards Youth Ideathon, I thought let me try and give you this, in a way, a talisman on what a good idea formation could be. The second is along with the market trend. Now, with market trends, the issue is that everybody is following it, and that's why it was a trend. The second fact is that there needs to be a new scientific factor, some new technology, some new behavior, some new newness that has happened in terms of evolution of a product. Now, it may be hard to understand, but as I said about the GPS issue, the market trend was at that time, as in people are hailing cabs. So there were these systems where you could call for a cab and people would optimize the least amount of time that they could get you a cab in. When you combine that with a scientific fact, which was that, GPS technology was ubiquitous enough. It was in everybody's hands and phones, and phone technology was also developing in a way that they were able to match the orange and the blue circles together. Now, these two again sort of make a good viable business in itself. The first two circles say that, yes, a good, viable business can be formed. But the third circle is the most important, where it sort of reflects on why should you do it? Why should your team do it? What is the need? Why do you want to do it? How important is it to you? How far are you going to take it? And that is what will differentiate you from the rest. So a market trend could be followed by a lot of people. A scientific fact allows you to be that innovator, but then there are also a lot of such innovators who can follow a market trend with that scientific fact, because the technology, once being developed, it's developed for everybody. But when you add that to a personal insight, that's when, out of experience is what I'm saying, this is not from an academic study, but that's in the way that I've studied businesses and new products being developed. I believe an innovator sort of combines these three to come up with their idea. So when you form these ideas, when you sort of evaluate and explore different ideas and which one to select, this could be a good rule. I want to talk about a few. I spoke about Uber so far. I also want to talk about that ideas and businesses in today's world, because of digital economy, because of the way people look at problems, societal problems where no transaction is going to happen. There are newer business models that have developed, and there's a business model which even capitalizes on the color red. By a show of hands, can I see how many people know about iPhones and the color red variant, which is called the product red? I'm sure you can give reactions on Zoom. By show of hands. Yeah, thanks, Arshi. More. And it's not just iPhones. If you are curious about it, then you can go on to red.org. So what this group does, it's basically a foundation, and they say that all of these popular products and companies like Coca-Cola, like the company that makes cars, Jeep, like Patagonia, like Apple, for example, all of these companies, they went and said that you come up with a new variant which is in a specific color, and whenever that color gets sold, a certain portion of the sales is what you will give to us, and we will deploy those funds for solving AIDS. And over after 2019, they also added COVID to that mix. So they are raising funds through the sales of specific colors of products which are existing, and they made a sort of an enterprise out of it, and they've really and they're able to show the impact as to how many people they're able to serve. In fact, their AIDS, the Global Fund for Prevention Against AIDS, is very, very active in Africa. They've made about $700 million in a year from just a specific color of product of sale. So I want you to sink that in, that even a color can make a good idea if you are able to tap into that. Another one wherein now this startup Loop, what they do is they looked at the problem of HDPE and LDPE. These are specific plastic containers in which our shampoo bottles, our deodorant cans, soap bottles, etc. They are there. So what they do is they made those bottles into metallic cans, which are refillable. And they tied up with the Procter and Gamble of the world, the Unilever, and said that now your Dove shampoo will come in our packaging. We will deliver it to the consumer. The consumer will use the shampoo, and we will replace it at his house. We know that once you've selected a shampoo brand, most people do not keep changing it. So they use that behavior. They also studied that a lot of waste gets generated because your shampoo bottles have to be carrying 400 grams of shampoo at one time, and they're very thick, and you will only discard it once it's used. So they said that we don't even want to do it the way hand soaps are done, where a Dettol dispenser is sold to you, and then you're able to refill it with a plastic packet. That plastic packet is a multi-layer plastic, and it's very hard to recycle or dispose of or sort of end its life cycle. So they said that metal-based cans, which can be reused multiple times, there are certain products which are more stable in glass. They said we will work on those packaging with you. They collaborated with the brand, and specific people who just keep ordering that particular brand are able to get served from this startup. This is a a Europe-based startup. Now, in both of these, I was trying to come up with the most extreme examples on what you can do, and that anything could be an idea as long as you're looking at. So, as long as you're looking at, is there a market trend? Will people be looking out for it? Is there a scientific fact? Is there a way, an actual solution that can happen? And the third is your team, are you motivated enough to be able to solve it? Because pursuing an idea, you know, is a long task. It's not a small road. There is no overnight success in developing an idea into a product, a solution, a startup, and then taking it to a successful business and an enterprise, which allows you to lead a better life as an entrepreneur. So I want these thoughts to stay with you as you guide the students, as you also ideate along with them. In last year's experience, we saw that a lot of the teachers and how well they are invested into this idea, that informs how much are they able to guide them. Because with the fellowship, what we tried to do was we created a 6-month program of product development where you have to look at existing products, existing solutions, try and buy one, take it apart, learn how it works, why it works, try and speak to their consumers, then understand how different you are, make your own prototype, study it, do tests, do experiments on it, and then report. It's literally the way a lot of you might have done your PhDs, literally the literal scientific explanation project. So teachers are really, really important in sort of inciting these thoughts and seeding them with the students. One of a good self checklist, and it's an academically validated one. It's called Heilmer Catechism. Whenever you have an idea, you can ask yourself these questions. One, what are you trying to do? You should know your objective and be able to very simply put it out in the simplest of words. As in the intelligence lies in making it simple so that it is able to speak to everybody. The second question that you can ask yourself is, how is it done today? And what are the limits of the way it's currently done? Let's say if you're talking about an Ola and it was trying to come up as a competitor to Uber. Now, it's not that they were just a copy. They saw that there were certain gaps with Uber. They saw that probably there needs to be an Indian firm, an international firm versus an Indian firm, because there's a market trend towards Indianness, that it may work. And then they kept adding slighter layers on top of it and eventually even diversified into electric vehicles and two-wheelers, etc., etc. So you should appreciate competition and be able to understand what their limits are. The third question you can ask yourself is, how are you different? Why do you feel it's successful? Number 4 is, who's going to care about your idea? And it's in a, I say it in a more positive and encouraging way, that you should understand who cares about your idea. I'm not saying it as, who cares. It's more like you should know it's not just your consumers. It's also your supporters, your investors, even the government, the local MLA. Because if you've done projects which are innovation led, you'll always see that everybody wants to support innovation. And you are at a place where you work with students, school students, that you will find more and more appreciation and help extended to you. So try and understand who's the ideal friends and family for that idea. What's the village in which it will prolifer. Question number 5 is, if you're successful, what difference will you end up making? It's very, very important in today's time to know that the way the world thinks, it's not just money. Nobody that you will ask a question to, that do you want to build a startup, they'll say yes. Why do you want to do it? Their answer will not just stop at, I want to make a lot of money. It will be that I want to make a difference. And this question should also be answered by your idea in itself. Another question is, what are the risks and the payoffs? There's always risks and payoffs to your startup. So yeah, if you come up with a certain technology which, let's say, is able to incinerate sanitary pads in schools or malls, then what are the risks? Because if you end up incinerating it at a low temperature, you may cause more harm with toxins and and because of incomplete combustion, you may have carbon monoxides and dioxins sort of coming out. And the payoff says that if it works well, you will be able to solve for such a large amount of waste at source, which is one of the best ways to treat waste. Seventh is for you to be able to develop that idea and take it forward, you should have an estimate on how much will it cost. A broad estimate at best, but the exercise of estimating what all do you need to make it real is a great exercise that lets you know a lot more about the idea, the product, the service, or even a communication material. That exercise of estimating how much will it cost is a great exercise for you to do at the ideation stage itself. And the last one, how long will it take? Because if I say today that going to the moon and taking all of our waste to Mars is the best solution possible, then somebody needs to tell you, and you need to be able to answer how long will it take. And if you've answered the first 7 questions, you will be able to somewhere give a number, a broad number, to how long will that solution take. And while you're able to give it an end goal, you should be able to give it a check at a midterm or sequential checks, which are like in a year where will I reach, in 5 years where will I reach, and so on. Now, these are verbal questions, and in the format that your ideas are expected to be uploaded to the portal, having a verbal answer to these questions is great. But this is also pulled into a framework which is called a business model canvas. You might have heard of it, seen it online. This one from Zopli, I like it because I'm a very visual person. I like icons better than text. And if you see, this is a very typical business model canvas, and it covers almost all the questions that I asked earlier, and you're able to pull them into different parts of your system. Now, why is a board like this needed? A board like this allows you to collaborate. Okay, these questions you can answer yourself or as a team, but when you have a board where people can come together and sort of take sticky notes, move it from these are not my key partners, these are probably my customers. Oh, this is not the right channel. I want to have my distribution in a different way. My revenue should come from here. And these conversations are best happen and are best conducted in a collaborative fashion. So business model canvas, and I'll ask Shivesh to share one with you, or maybe guide you to one. I'll share you a link with these. There are multiple. If you just type in business model canvas on Google, you will be able to find multiple, and all of them are good frameworks. And those are things that I wanted to cover in a brief snapshot on how you can ideate. You can try and remember this talisman, as I said. Look at the market trend. Look at something where a new technology or a new solution that has come up, but it's not that well known. And add your reason. Why do you want to do it? And then there's a higher probability of you coming up with a successful idea. So, Shivesh sir,
Thank you,
can
Ankur.
keep it just then crisp.
Yeah. Thank you, Ankur. Fantastic. And in a short time, you covered a lot of stuff. Any teacher, if you have any of the mentors, if you have any question, if you can raise your hand, I will unmute, and then we can have some Q&A with Ankur sir. Keep your question focused around innovation and design when we are discussing with Ankur sir. And I will do after this, once we have, once you ask your question, Ankur sir, then I'll repeat whatever I have said about Youth Ideathon, right? So Harmeet Kaur, you have a question. I am unmuting you. Please unmute. Please unmute. Yeah.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. I have a question regarding the end product design that we are looking at. So at the end of the session, at the end of the project completion, the idea, is it only the showcase to be done for only the idea is there, creating a business model, or we are actually looking at creation of a prototype at the end of the whole process?
Yeah.
Is the expectation of submission going to be that of a product also, or only the idea is enough?
So Harmeet, I will answer that question. Ankur,
you can cover it as a Youth Ideathon question, but I want to add this to maybe this could be a common question to a lot of teachers. If you look at it from a youth ideathon perspective, Shivesh is going to cover that. But I would really urge you to, at this stage, when you're ideating, look at it from a business that your team wants to do.
Okay.
And it's not, it's not a place where you have to commit to time, but in a freewheeling manner, try and see how far can it go. Okay. So in that, not just a prototype, not just a business model canvas, but actual revenue, etc. Everything, as long as you can take it, will help your idea be more solid, and that will help you win. If you're given a goalpost and you just gun for that goalpost, I don't think that's the best utilization of all the
Yeah,
strengths
I
that you may have.
agree with you, Ankur. It's actually the whole journey, the whole process that should be something which is a learning tangent for the children also. It's a great idea. I would say it's a great initiative by CBSE on this one. And thank you for this one. Thank you very much.
Okay, anyone else who has question for, please keep your question focused on innovation, design, and Ankur will answer.
And ideation, yeah. Even
And
if you're
ideation,
battling
of
different
course.
ideas and which one to select.
Anything around ideation, if you can, if you have any question, right? So I think, or if you put it on chat, then Ankur, would you be here around for a while?
I can hang out for a bit. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to be sharing my screen to discuss about, yeah. I'm going to be sharing my screen to discuss about the Youth Ideathon process. We already had a session a few days back with some of you, and I ended up creating sufficient amount of confusion, which is good, and which makes it more interesting. Okay, so just allow me to share my screen, and I'm going to talk about Youth Ideathon process. Okay, Bhavna Grover is asking me to be a bit louder. Am I audible to all, or friends? Ankur?
Yes, very well. Audible to me.
Okay. So I have gotten closer to my computer. Allow me to share screen. For some of you, what I'm going to do is going to be some sort of repetition, but at the cost of being repetitive, I am again going there. And Harmeet, I will also answer your question. Right. So Youth Ideathon this year has a theme, right? And that theme, the motto is visible in the logo of Youth Ideathon. And Harmeet, precisely to your question, I want you to focus on this word, right? And why Youth Ideathon is designed in a particular manner, I'm also going to talk about it. So the motto of Youth Ideathon this year is I start up a good thing for India, and the team which is supporting Youth Ideathon run is I represent Think Startup, CBSE, MEPSC, which is under Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, and then for this great orchestration as well as support during for incubation and everything, there are various awards. Bajaj Allianz and Container Corporation of India, which is a Maharatna, they are supporting Youth Ideathon. So Youth Ideathon is being powered by Bajaj Allianz and Container Corporation of India, and all details as far as possible is there on the Youth Ideathon website. The format of the competition remains the same. It has not changed as compared to the previous years, but the motto of Youth Ideathon has changed. So last year, the motto was, and some of you might remember, it was Mera idea jo badal de Bharat, right? So my idea which can change India. From that, we are moving to a theme which is I start up a good thing for India. Now, if you really take these two messages, these are two different messages. First was more focused on idea. Now we really want the focus of Youth Ideathon on ideas which can be converted into some sort of startup, right? So Harmeet, in terms of your question, what is important? Yeah, prototyping is important. But we are looking at prototypes which can be really converted into some sort of a startup, right? So that whole focus is very important, right? So in that sense, whatever Ankur sir covered, I think that's important. Now, in terms of a pat in our back, and when I say pat on our back, it is all of us, everyone in this room, right? So 95,000 students participated, 12,000 teachers got trained last year, 8,000 schools, and nearly 4,000 students, they got some sort of recognition. Also about 1,000 teachers, they got some sort of recognition. So this notification got released by CBSE, but it is not limited to CBSE. It is open for all school boards in India, right? So we have state board students participating already in Tamil Nadu, in Kerala, in Rajasthan, in Delhi. We are seeing a lot of state boards and their participation, right? So it is not, and then we are also getting participation from IB boards. We are getting participation from IGCSE and all sorts of schools. So it is open for all schools. We have also got participation from CBSE schools outside India. And, some unknown school they got in Ghana, they have seen this and they are also participating. So it's a celebration of the startup spirit amongst school students. And this is what we want to really encourage. Now, stage one of Youth IDEATHON is largely about massive orchestration and encouragement. And why this stage is there is what I know. And I'm saying this from my knowledge of having supported more than 500 startups directly, right? So they are all live in some form or the other. So what I know is from volume comes quality, from quantity comes quality. So more and more people, when they start talking, thinking, discussing, then there is this whole ecosystem which gets mobilized, and then you start a culture where entrepreneurship and innovation is celebrated, and only then the country moves up in the ladder of success, right? And we have done a great work as a country, but we still have a great work to do. There are enough developed societies who are doing great work in terms of usable innovation or usable entrepreneur, things which are getting venturized. So first step is about online idea submission. Teams of 3 to 5 students. I keep getting this question, why not individual? But one of the values that we really want to propagate is that anything complex requires teamwork, right? And we have to seed this as early as possible when the mind is ready to accept. When we are in our 30s and 20s and not willing to accept, then we say all innovation can happen only by one single person. Steve Jobs didn't do it all alone, right? He had a massive team. He had a bunch of, he had Steve Wozniak, who was his friend. Every time when I read all these things, every time when Thomas Alva Edison didn't do much. He had a great team who was behind him. And we really don't know about all this. So we really want that at this stage in schools, it has to be a team work, right? Kids work in team and then they come up with ideas, they submit ideas. And this is the most nascent stage of the competition. But things move up, and then comes stage 2, where we guide people to create a YouTube pitch of their ideas, which gets evaluated by multiple people. And these are experts in innovation in some form. They are like Ankur sir, and they are industry experts. They are working in startup ecosystem. They could be Atal mentors of change. There are a variety of people who we have enlisted. So we select, we have divided India into 9 regions. From every region, we select 100 teams. And then out of the remaining ideas left, 100 best ideas. So geographically, everyone gets a fair chance. And then we also want anyone, for some quirk of fate and anything, if we have missed them, we should really bring them up. So that's second stage. This stage Once people are selected, we are going to give the template. We are going to do a session like this with all students. Last year we did it, and again we are going to do this. So there'll be about 3,000, 4,000 people in that session. We guide them what to do, and there's only 1 day or 2 days between stage 1 and stage 2. So results get published on 29th. Stage 1 gets over on 27th October. Stage 2, I'll show you the dates, right? And we have seen kids do it. We run hackathons and various sorts of stuff with school kids, and they are able to do a lot, right? Then stage 3 comes out of this. After evaluation of all these top 1,000 teams, we select 100 teams for interview. Now, extremely difficult, we have found every year. Last year, we selected about 120 teams or 125 teams. We said 110, from 100, we moved to 110, then 120, 125, but we are not going to exceed 125 by any chance. So all interviews will be done very fast, again by set of panel. And from there, we move to a stage where the reward becomes very tangible. So top 25 teams get 10,000 rupees of cash award, which can be used for some sort of prototyping, and mentors get a small cash award. It's a very small value, but it is more than that. It's a recognition of you as a mentor. I know all the mentors who I have interacted with, right? So today, we actually know who are the people who are leading some sort of innovation with school students all across country. So, so that award is there. Now, these 25 teams are then invited for the final round, final pitch, which will happen on 19th November at IIT Delhi. And top 10 teams will be selected for incubation grant of 1 lakh rupees. So that's the flow of the event. And once you get selected for incubation grant, then you work with us for to make the things real. And like CW, Ankur from CW has supported us. I think he's again creating an extension of the fellowship program, and we will in maybe 2 days or 3 days we will talk about that in more detailed manner. But at this stage, everything is fine. We will do a separate communication with all of you about the fellowship program also. But this time, fellowship for CW is going to be more focused, and you have to allow me to, you will have to wait for some time when the whole design of that, the whole structure is well designed. Now, in terms of the 9 regions in India, and how it is divided, this is also being live on YouTube, so you can see this on YouTube also. So Ahmedabad region maps states of Gujarat, Daman, Diu, UT, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan. Chandigarh region maps Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu, Kashmir, Ladakh, and Chandigarh, UT. Delhi regions maps Delhi and Haryana. Lucknow region maps Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Bihar, Jharkhand. Kolkata region maps West Bengal, Sikkim, all the states of Northeast. Hyderabad region, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and Odisha. Chennai region, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Pondicherry, Andaman Nicobar Islands. Bengaluru region, Karnataka, Goa, and Lakshadweep. And Mumbai region, Maharashtra and Chhattisgarh. And so 100 teams from 9 regions, and then 100 teams from the best, which is amongst the rest. So that's how this will move. The key dates of Youth Ideathon is here. 6th, it got launched. 27th is the cutoff date. 29th, we release the result. Concurrent evaluation of ideas are going on. So more than 10,000 ideas got received by the end of last week, right? So I would say by end of Saturday or Sunday or something of that sort. Now, 29th, these ideas get received. Then there are mentoring sessions of top 100 teams, top 1,000 teams. There's a wisdom of crowd activity and all that. And then regional 10 into 10 list will be published. So top 100 stage is here. And then prototyping grant and all that, right? So if you have a high potential team, you know that the build-up time is very less, right? I really think, and you all know that you might have a high potential team. Already you have been participating in various events like Atal Tinkerpreneur and those sort of stuff. So keep refining the stuff that you are doing, right? The big change for Youth Ideathon is the mission, right? And the mission is startup. I startup a great thing for India. So if you have a great innovation which cannot be venturized, which cannot be taken to a startups mode, this is going to be a difficult step. Till this stage, all that will really work. But this is going to be a difficult step, right? And we really want to focus on this year, focus on ideas, prototypes, which can be venturized, which can be converted into startups, right? And we really want that incubation is used for building the startup, right? So that's the big difference. I really want you to note that big difference and take it. The awards, as I said, that these are the awards. There would be theme awards. Macmillan has already promised a theme award for education idea. We will share the detailed theme awards as we move along. There's also principle of innovation, for which I had a session in the morning. This is the award list, which is already there on the website. Principle of innovation, I'm not talking. Now, I created some confusion with this slide when I had a briefing session with some schools last week. Listen, there are two things. What's going on? For example, there is one student who has submitted, I don't know how many, 100 ideas, right? And those all 100 ideas are captured in about 10 words, and you can really make little sense out of it, right? So success in Youth Ideathon depends on the way you are going to guide your students on how to write that idea, right? And that's an art in itself. It's a method of communication, because if you write a loose statement, then the examiner on the other side, and all of you have been examiner, you can make no sense, and then that idea gets rejected. And like you, we also find the same challenge. So there could be something great in the head of a kid, but if it is not expressed well, then we can't understand it. Okay. So help your students write idea in a better manner. So that's one help that we are seeking from you. Now, in terms of School of Innovation Award, we have created this award structure. We know from our experience of last 3 years how schools are able to mobilize number of students, and we know by now at least 20 schools who last year mobilized so many students, right? So this is a volume award where we are looking at unique teams, 350 unique teams or 1,000 plus unique students. There is a gold trophy. The silver trophy is for School of Innovation. Silver award is for schools where there are 250 plus unique teams or 750 plus unique students. And the bronze is for 150 unique teams and 500 plus unique students. We have already published a leaderboard as on all the ideas received as on 9th of October, right? And that caused a lot of grief, and I'll explain that. In the last briefing session, instead of the word team, I had written idea here. But when we started looking at idea and everything, we will create an award for school with most ideas, right? Because we have said, but School of Innovation Award is for maximum dispersion. We don't want that Youth Ideathon in innovation gets limited to very few 10, 20, 15 students inside the school. That does no work for country, right? It has to be like the muscle has to be built in every student inside the school. So the message of Ideathon, the message of innovation, the message of entrepreneurship has to go to everyone across. and we want maximum participation from every school for you to be receiving this award. Similarly, we have Teacher of Innovation Award, which is again on the same pattern, unique teams or unique students. So same miscommunication which I had done in the past, and I have corrected it. I'm very sorry about it, but there is, if you think that your student submitted 50 ideas, unique ideas with 5 words where I can't make out any uniqueness, I'm sorry, we are not doing that. Teachers of Innovation Award is for the effort that teachers are going to make to spread the message of innovation and participation and participating in Youth Ideathon. This is to reward that hard work. And I can tell you it's not easy. It's not easy to help kids write ideas systematically, right? Our mentors are doing workshops in some schools every day. 7:30 p.m. we are doing an online workshop for school students. This is not for teachers. Evening every day, it's happening. It happened yesterday. It will go on up to 26, 7:30 p.m. Students can register on that workshop on the Youth Ideathon portal. I can ask Vandana ma'am to share that link in the WhatsApp group and right now in the chat here. Vandana, if you can share that link in where students can join in the workshop, 7:30 p.m. workshop. Please do, right? So these are the awards. In addition, there are awards for Principle of Innovation, for which I had a separate session, and we'll be sharing the YouTube link for that also. Last year's top 10 teams were these, and they did some wonderful work. They were different teams. There were some ideas which are more research oriented. There were some ideas which were more commercial oriented. So there were some ideas which had patent. For example, this team has a patent. This team, super confident team, and they are creating some mobile-based what do you call data compression algorithm, right? Which is working fine. This team is working on cancer detection. There's a team which works on AI-based glove for sensor-based stuff. This team is worked on virtual dispute resolution, and it got mentored by a very famous Supreme Court judge, right? So sometimes things happen at that scale. Then this team is working on some Beacon Aid, which is a DPS Arkipuram team. This is working on a commercial idea in the healthcare sector. Team from Kashmir, they created an apple sorter, a great team. Then another Medicare related idea from Mayur School, Noida. This team from Nirja Modi in Jaipur, they worked on a sensor based stuff which can store energy when you walk. And there's a low cost ventilator from Sunbeam School, Bhagwanpur. So team got selected. Not every team worked at the same pace. That is the nature of innovation and incubation. And we really were hard. So teams which worked full, they got full grant. Teams which worked less, they got less grant. We really want, and we are completely open to this full grant, and we can also go over the board, right? But we want all teams to be working, right? It's not just us getting your award in Youth Ideathon and do no work. So this grant is only to support teams to make their dreams come true. And this year, the focus is completely going to be around startups. So this is all. Last year, we had 5 CW fellowships. These are some celebration photographs. These are some celebration photographs. There are people from all of this. These are all the teacher mentors. So this is it. I'm done, and I am now unmuting everyone. Sorry that I had to, I did this. Just give me a sec. Yes. Friends, if you have any question, you can raise your hand. I will take those questions on Youth Ideathon. Harmeet, yeah, please unmute. Can you unmute?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please.
Again, I'm sorry to disturb you again, but one question. For submission of the primary idea on the portal, is there a set template or a format?
Yeah, it's a very standard format that we've been using for 3 years. It's fairly simple. Describe your idea in brief. Where did you get the motivation? And then there are 4 simple questions.
Okay. That's
And
on the
the last
website.
question is, what makes you believe that your idea is great, right? So that really, and that's evaluated by every idea that comes at stage 1 is evaluated by 2 people.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other question? I'm making everyone unmute. Just give me a second. You can unmute yourself, but let's all go one by one. Raise your hand, and then we can. Shubhi, over to you. You can unmute yourself, perhaps. Yeah.
Namaskar, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for briefing. And 2 doubts I have.
Yes.
First one is, suppose one team will submit 3 ideas. So it will not be counted in the unique one. Now only one idea will be counted in one.
Unique team.
Suppose I have 40 teams, and these 40 teams will submit 120 ideas. Means that each team will submit 3 ideas. Suppose
Yeah,
so it will be counted 40 only or 120.
For the number of ideas award, we are creating number of ideas award also. Vandana ma'am is really keen to get that award created, and she has pushed it to the committee. Once it gets approved, we'll announce that. So once the number of idea awards get, then your 120 idea score will come there. Right now, for School of Innovation and Mentor of Innovation, it will be 40.
Okay. Means for each and every, means the unique idea will have to be from the different team every time.
Yeah.
Okay. And the second question is is it possible that for means main 25 team or the final 25 team, 2 teams can be from the same school?
Of course.
Is it possible?
Of course. By the way, I'll tell you, we are right now, this week, we are doing All India Businessman competition, and there are 2 teams from the same school.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions from any one of you? You have the power to unmute. You can raise your hand. If you have put your question, I can get into the messages and look at the question.
Hello.
Yes, Sridevi KP. Yeah, over to you.
Good evening, sir. Sir, I have a doubt. First time our school is going to participate for this youth ideathon. So I have a doubt. Sir?
Which school are you?
From Cochin Refinery School, Kerala. Okay, sir. After submitting the idea, if our idea gets selected, we have to upload a YouTube pitch, and after that, if we get selected, a prototype has to be made, sir. So
after YouTube, if your idea gets selected, then there will be interview, and
okay, sir.
And after interview, then you reach top 25, where we give you a small prototyping grant when you will have to make a prototype.
Okay, sir. Sir, during making that prototype, I have a doubt whether we will be given any workshops or in any mentoring sessions for developing that prototype.
In the fairness of competition, no.
Okay,
but
sir.
we are doing a mentoring session for top 1,000 teams from 29 to 2nd November, where
okay,
we will also include few sessions on prototype.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yes.
I am from Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalay, Pimple Jakab district, Pune.
Yes, Namaji.
Sir, actually, I have one doubt.
Yeah.
As per that of our NVS guidelines, our vacation means Deepavali vacation commences from 23rd of this month to 14th of next month.
Yeah.
If students submitted the ideas, then we have that of the problem of if that idea gets selected for the next round or next stage, then is it compulsory to have that of the video and all these things?
हाँ कंपलसरी है। तो बच्चों का आपके पास मोबाइल नंबर होना जरूरी है जिन लोगों ने ये किया। और जवाहर नवोदय
अच्छा,
विद्यालय
तो
से,
सब
हाँ हाँ, और वो जो वहाँ पे मोबाइल नंबर और ईमेल आईडी है उसको थोड़ा ठीक से भरेंगे, बिकॉज हमारे लिए उनके साथ संपर्क करने का वही साधन है।
yes, yes, correct.
So please fill the right mobile number and email ID, because we also want to get in touch with everyone, because the competition will run clockwork. There will be no letdown, no shift on any date. 19th November, we have to complete it come whatever, right? So we have no need.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Yes.
sir. Okay, sir.
So Barney, you had a question?
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Sir, actually, I heard about patent. One school last, you said one school got patent of their idea. So,
Yeah.
so is it you will be helping us to get patent if we have an idea, it's valuable to get patent, or you want, some procedures to done?
I'll tell you what, they had themselves done the patent, but at the launch when we were with CBSE, there was Director Skilling, Dr. Biswi Saha, he said that they will consider providing some sort of support for patenting. That framework has not yet been, formalized. It is not yet clear. As we move into the Youth Ideathon thing, we will also try and get some clarity on that. We work on very limited budgets, right? So if our sponsors can support, we will come back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. I think, Ankur, you want to add anything around fellowship and patent if you have any thought? Because why I'm asking Ankur, sir, because they sponsored 5 fellowships and something good is coming out of it. So I just wanted to have his thoughts.
Yeah. Also, this team who had the patent, and I met them at the Youth Ideathon 23 launch, they had been working on it for the last, I think, 4 years at least, and some very deep research work, which qualified them for the patent. But on the other side, there are different kinds of IP registrations. The least is a design registration, which is if you feel that it may not have a technology that you newly developed and needs to have a patent, you can very quickly get a design registration. It's in fact a very cheap, it's not a very inexpensive way of qualifying yourself that you have an IP. It's about 4,000 or 5,000 rupees. You just need to submit the core drawings, the exterior drawings, the casings, and to the patent office in Kolkata. All completely online procedure. That's how you can do it. The patent process does take at least 2 years. 1 year of contesting and 1 year of application. So do sort of keep that in. But on the other side, everybody is encouraged to try and come up with innovations and also develop the habit of going through existing patents. You will be able to, the students as well as the teachers will be able to learn a lot about the kind of innovations and the standard at which you do get a patent. So you'll get a lot to know about it. About the fellowship, as I said, we are formalizing it, but overall, we'll be encouraging solutions in specific themes this year. And the themes will be around either packaging, managing air pollution at source, and a few others. Once we have that formalized, we will share it with you. We so far felt that we would not want to entice you with the fellowship alone, that you come up with an idea because there's a fellowship. That's why even last year, we piggybacked and we entered at a stage when the ideas have been accepted. And while at the filtering stage, we announce it. So we'll get back to you on that.
Thanks, Ankur. I have few questions which I am looking at. So there are questions. Can we start recording the video? Of course. Vandana, can you share the YouTube link of last year's Youth Ideathon? Listen, listen, friends. Our YouTube page, Think Startup YouTube page, has all the top 1,000 pitches. We are sharing the link. You can share this with your students. You can see some format. Maybe there could be very slight tweak in the format, but that's good for guidance and getting your head sorted, right? So it's also a great learning material for everyone. So if you really look at, Vandana is going to share the YouTube link right now, and we'll also share it on the WhatsApp group, right? So that's one of the questions. Can we change the mentor? You can change. We are very flexible. We are, we are not at all, we have no problems with any of those things, right? Sometimes last year we figured that there were two mentors who were quarreling with each other. We don't want that to happen. And we don't have time to be a arbitrator in between the disputes between two mentors, right? But we are very flexible. See, this is all for the interest of a child, right? So that interest is paramount. Is there a particular, okay, is there a format in which idea has to be submitted? Idea submission form stage 1 is very standardized. It's available on www.youthideathon.in. There's no change. You can do that. Can teams start doing the video? Of course, yes. Can same student be in two teams, two different teams? Yeah, we are very flexible, right? So we have absolutely no problem. Okay, can we clarify its CERN? Okay, prototype should be hardware or software. There is a whole spectrum of prototype, right? It can be from a cardboard prototype. It can be right from a sketch, which people think as prototype, to a cardboard prototype, to a workable prototype, to a finished product. We have seen it all. Right now, as a judge, and we leave it to the judges who are very seasoned people. They invest in startups. They are innovators. So all sorts of people come. They are professors of IIT. So they all come and they make a judgment, right? So things have to impress a lot of people, not just one. Okay. What's the minimum and maximum age? Lakshmi ma'am, you are asking a very difficult question, right? But class 4 to class 12 of student of any bona fide school, any board in India, it's open to all. So I think 2 years back, we put an age and we said that it's an unnecessary data. It's a bona fide student in any school from class 4 to class 12. Okay. Is there certificate for attendance? Okay, so the attendance link is there. There is attendance link. Please do not fail to sign. Put your data, name, everything correctly, because certificates will be generated on the basis of that. Okay. There are student workshop link which ma'am has given already. Okay. So friends, I think I'm done with all the questions. If you have any last question, you can go ahead and ask. Please share the WhatsApp group. Vandana, can you share the WhatsApp group again?
Sir, this is Annie from Vikas Bharati Public School.
Yes.
I have a small query, sir. What do you mean by unique teams? Is it like all the students of a team should be different, or is it like one student, generally they are in a habit of one student becoming parts of more than one team?
Annie, I'll think and then make a comment. I don't want to blunder it and then again cause some sort of confusion. I have noted the question and we'll put it on the group. We'll receive it.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, folks, with this, we call it a day. Thank you all for participating. We really need your help and we really need mass. So what's the message? The message is we don't want something called IDEATHON to be a property of 10 students in school. It should be as widespread as possible. And we really want you to mobilize and spread the message of innovation, entrepreneurship amongst everyone. Right? And then from qualitative assessment of idea is done by a lot of people. But what happens is, if I am a grade 6 student, I have participated in IDEATHON this year, I know that something called IDEATHON, and I am generally awakened to this whole concept of innovation and entrepreneurship. So we want to be working on this project together. Without teachers, this project can never succeed. So we want your support. Right, friends? So with this, we call it a day. There's another session scheduled on 18th, and we're trying to schedule another one following maybe 20th or 24th. So stay tuned, and we'll work on this together. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. We have shared the YouTube link of last year's top 1,000 pitches.
Thank you, sir.